Funniest moment of WrestleMania weekend was Stone Cold smashing his four-wheeler into the barricade and having hit a Cody Rhodes crybaby. She was so mad. She was so mad. I don't even know if I would be mad. I would just be like, bro, just give me front row seats, WrestleMania tickets next year in NOLA, and we're straight. She was so upset. I'm not sure if the dude next to her was the boyfriend or significant other, husband, but you could tell he was just so excited. And then looked at her and looked at the response and was trying to correct himself really quickly, like, oh God, I've got to straighten up. Everyone's going to think I'm an asshole. But that was so funny. And you could tell that Stone Cold was, you all right? You all right? And she was not having it. And he goes, screw it. Went back to the ring and did his thing. But I guarantee there was a conversation when he got back behind that curtain, dude. I would love to have heard that conversation.
What's going on, y'all? This is Alexander. You are plugged into the Nerd Companion.
What's going on, y'all? This is Alexander from the Nerd Companion going over 2025's WrestleMania 41 recap and analysis. I wanted to do this episode after WrestleMania, but definitely wanted to do it right after Raw to see how everything played out. But without further ado, let's get into it. I wanted to start at the top with the undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. I want to say from the top that I am not mad that John Cena won, and I'm excited to see what they do with this storyline. But the match itself was so underwhelming. A lot of things just didn't make sense to me in regard to The Rock's involvement. Now, wrestling fans are pretty brutal as things are happening, and I like to take the approach where I like to see something play out completely before giving my thoughts on it. I had an idea that The Rock was not going to show up. I wanted to give him a chance to show up. But after watching it, I was kind of disappointed that he didn't show up, at least to kind of give some explanation or kind of really sew in the relationship between him and John Cena. The Rock came out and said that he really wanted the focus to be on Cody Rhodes and John Cena. And I'm cool with that. But there was just some things about the match and how the thing was produced in regard to having Travis Scott come out. I don't understand why Travis Scott came out. I have nothing against Travis Scott. I like Travis Scott, but it just seemed kind of awkward. And I think what they were trying to do was to at least have Travis Scott get that receipt back from Cody Rhodes from popping his eardrum. But I really didn't think it needed to be done. It was kind of unnecessary. And it just kind of slowed down the pace from an already slow-paced match. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. But overall, the ending I'm happy with. I just was kind of underwhelmed. I think is really the perfect word to describe it from my point of view by the match itself. Before the match itself, I was a little confused and really didn't agree. Like, I see where John Cena was coming from in regard to his heel turn and his motive behind that. And I didn't really like it, but I heard, and I didn't hear it when I was watching SmackDown, but I heard that a lot of people booed Cody Rhodes at SmackDown. And then John Cena comes out on Raw and basically plays the role of where he is basically calling an audience a terrible group of people. And that, you put this guy, Cody Rhodes, as your champion, he's exalted, and you turn around and you boo him and cheer for me, and basically called the audience a bunch of idiots. And I think it was at that moment when he had that promo on Raw that I agree with him, man. I kind of, in a way, John Cena is almost championing behind the industry of wrestling against the fans, and to kind of show the fans how easy it is for them to just turn their back on their hero who they've been cheering for years since his return to WWE to finally get his belt and finish his story. And he's just revealing it to the audience. And I just felt like, I related to that. Like, how are you going to sit here and cheer for this guy for 2 years? With his, I've got my complaints about Cody, but they're minor things. He was a good guy. and back Cena. And he just revealed the ugly truth to the audience. And I just think it's almost like a shoot. Like he's being honest with the audience. So I mean, I agree with Cena from this point. Like I'm with Cena and revealing the ugly truth about the audience as a whole, as wrestling fans. I liked Cody Rhodes for probably different reasons that other people like Cody Rhodes. I like Cody Rhodes because he literally busts his behind, going out, staying after every show, arriving early, signing autographs, taking the pictures, just doing all the things to really just do good things for the kids, you know what I mean? And having two sons, I just respect that because my son loves Cody Rhodes. In fact, when we watched the match and he lost, my son literally was speechless. I was sitting behind him and he was just still, and I kept asking him if he was all right. And when I came around to look at his face, there was tears streaming down his face. Part of me felt bad, but golly, that's the beauty of wrestling. It's all about the story. And I can't wait to see what happens and see where Cody goes from here, because I definitely feel that this with loss was necessary for Cody to develop more character depth for him. Like, do we see him go heel? Do we see him really lean into the face? So I'm excited. Definitely Cody's probably going to take some vacay time, as he's really been busting his behind for the past 2 years, showing up at every show, staying after, on the road, all the time. He deserves a vacation. So hats off to Cody. It was one hell of a run and can't wait to see what happens for the growth moving forward. But yeah, John Cena, his best work's going to be on that mic and just revealing the ugly truth to the audience. And as much as I didn't agree with him prior to the match, I'm behind him. In a sense, he was kind of supporting Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? Like, he beat him. He's a heel, if you want to call him a heel. I wouldn't even consider him a heel at this point. It's almost as if John Cena's against the audience in the WWE universe. And I'm all for it. I think it's great. And just excited to see where they take it with his last run in the WWE. Just super excited to see where it goes. We'll get into the WWE Women's Tag Team match. Lyra Valkyria with Becky Lynch. Bayley got hurt, and so they put in the man and defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the new champions, but then immediately lost on Raw. And what happens after the match? The man, Becky Lynch, destroys Valkyria, just absolutely destroys her. And it leads me to these ideas of, I wonder if they were going to have Bayley do the same thing. But I'm not sure what's going on with Bayley. Lots of rumors floating around, but I wonder if they were going to have Bayley do that as well. What if this was the last audible, if Becky Lynch even considered coming back, or if they made the call to Becky Lynch and said, hey, we need you back. We need you to come in. And she came in clutch and did the job. And, you know, the Raw following basically just turned full heel, full send. Let's go. Heel. I love my heel characters. This is going to be fun to watch. Next, we'll do the Logan Paul, AJ Styles match. This was so interesting to me. And I'll kind of go behind the curtain on this one, because Logan Paul wins and you see Karion Kross have this relationship with AJ Styles, and he's trying to get him to embrace the dark side. And he shows up in the match trying to give him the brass knuckles. AJ throws it away. He's a face. He's not going to do it. But Karion Kross is the devil on his shoulder, trying to get him to basically beat Logan at any means necessary to see some growth for AJ. He wants AJ to be so much more, because he thinks that he has so much more potential to turn and do all these evil deeds. And it was just really interesting. So I don't know if any of y'all have watched the Karion Kross promo that he gave at the interview after WrestleMania. I'm not sure if this was legitimate, like if it was a shoot or if he's playing character, but it seems so genuine. I encourage anyone to go watch this. After this interview, they have to pull the trigger on Karion Kross. He is such an extreme character, and I'm just surprised at how underutilized this guy is. I mean, some of the cerebral work he does is so underrated, and they don't put it out into the show. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but when he had that match with AJ Styles, whenever AJ Styles was going to do the phenomenal forearm, Karion Kross literally put his arms behind his back and took the blow. He wanted AJ to destroy him. Karion Kross reminds me of the Joker. He wants to break Batman. There can't be no Batman without the Joker. There can be no Joker without the Batman. Joker's purpose is to get Batman to do the necessary evil to accelerate Batman to the next level. And the Karion Kross is doing this. And you see this with his work backstage and his backstage segments. And they really had something going with that match, because him taking that phenomenal forearm and sacrificing himself to really have AJ grow into another character and break his will and break everything he stands for is such a great story. And you see him sowing this seed with every character that he comes in contact with behind the scenes. And after this promo, I just can't see how WWE cannot pull the trigger on this guy and get him wrestling on a weekly basis. I want this guy to succeed because he's an absolute monster. He's an absolute monster, and he's so underutilized, and I want to see him grow because his character work is primo. It's primo. It's honestly in the top 5 personalities in the WWE right now. There's not a character like him currently. Takes this almost just fiendish psychopath role to basically break his adversaries by going against their moral code, just to prove that you have it in, like they have it in them. And they just got to pull the trigger on this guy. This guy is amazing. Amazing promo work. And that, to me right there, like the promos is what sells the characters in the WWE. That's what makes the WWE WWE. You know, it's all about the characters. It's all about the stories. That's what gets you motivated to watch these matches, right? That's what separates it from a product like AEW. AEW's got some banger matches, but they lack a lot of the times the story and the narrative. And Karion Kross is a guy who literally puts everything on the table, everything on the mat, everything on the camera, and he's giving you something that you're not seeing with any other character on that roster. It's just so crazy to me. But just another humble wrestling nerd's opinion. I hope they do something with Karion Kross, really. Maybe change his name to Killer Kross. But that promo was absolutely nasty. I could not tell if it was fake or real. There had to be some sort of real emotion behind there. And I would not be surprised if that was his real attitude towards the situation, because he's underutilized and he knows it. He knows it. He knows his value. If they don't watch it, like, he's going to go somewhere else. I mean, I hope not. And he'll definitely be back, but he's doing something and they're missing it. They're missing it. And I was being patient and trying to see if they were just waiting to see what happened, you know, with all the stuff with, you know, the Final Testament, AOP getting released, and they were just trying to figure it out. But they need to pull the trigger on this guy because this dude is primo. He literally, his character work is so good. It's so good. Guys, what are y'all doing? Next match, we got the Randy Orton, Joe Hendry match. I definitely thought that maybe we were going to get maybe Aleister Black or Rusev, but I mean, you don't want a comeback appearance and have him lose. You got to make the returns look strong. So it was probably the best bet to go with Joe Hendry. It was a fun match. And then, you know, you get his and turnaround smile with the RKO out of nowhere. It was perfect. It was so good. It was so good. Such a good match. That fatal 4-way though. IC, my boy Dom got his IC title. He's undeniable. He's undeniable. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants Penta to get it, but Penta's going to get it. He don't need it. This does something for Dom. Puts him on the big singles run, the big singles matches. It's going to get him in the spotlight, and I think he's really going to develop and certainly going to start seeing some beef with him and Finn. On the Raw, I thought Finn was going to kind of screw Dom out of this match and have Penta win and really start a feud, but they got something cooking there. Can't wait to see what they do. So happy that Dom won. And if there was any question on what was going to happen with Braun Breaker, we surely got that answer on Raw, but we'll get more into that later. This match right here, the Sin City Street Fight between Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest, was an absolute banger. One of the best matches of WrestleMania weekend. Absolute carnage. Those guys complement each other so well. Drew McIntyre, they need to do something with this guy. I don't think that he necessarily needs a belt, but he deserves a belt. This dude's character's work is literally top tier. One of the best characters in the roster right now. And he makes everyone around him look good, which is essentially the premise of wrestling, is selling a match to where it's neck and neck. And he does such a good job. And even though Damien Priest lost, it does nothing to hurt Damien Priest. I mean, it was a brutal match. I mean, you could have put anyone else in there and taken a loss, and it just makes both of them look good. And those two just do so well together. You know what I mean? And I really like that Damian Priest is really finding his character with being a badass. And I really feel like he's doing such a good job selling it right now, as opposed to how he was a couple years ago. There's been so much growth with Damian Priest with his promos and his character work, and can't wait to see what happens with those two. The Triple Threat Women's World Championship match, I didn't expect anything less than stellar, and that's exactly what we got. The winner, Io Sky, retains. I think it was the best call. Bianca Belair has a story cooking with Jade and Naomi, and Rhea Ripley really doesn't need a belt. I think they're going to have her do some amazing things with some of the younger female talent that's going to be coming with this WWE draft, and it's just going to be magic, man. It's going to be so good. Rhea Ripley is in my Rushmore of current wrestlers right now. There's no one that can sell like she sells. Her facial expressions are absolutely amazing. She's just such a performer that's levels beyond anyone in that locker room. I know people say that Bianca Belair is the best, but Rhea Ripley, dude, when all this is said and done, she's going to be one of the greats that has ever performed in wrestling, period. Hands down, male or female, it doesn't matter. She's going to be one of the greats. Top 5. She is amazing, and I'm glad I'm watching this as it happens. But a great match. Io Sky wins, retains. It was the best decision. I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be really good. Going into the Saturday night results, we had Yeet Mania, Gunther versus main event Jey Uso. Everyone probably called this. If Jey didn't win, I really don't know what they were going to do with Jey. They were going to miss that opportunity with Jey. And he made Gunther tap out to a sleeper. Made him tap out to a sleeper. Poetic justice. Poetic justice. But Gunther, he don't look bad for losing. He's a monster. And we saw that on Raw with him attacking the announce table, Pat McAfee, Michael Cole. It's really going to start seeing him go off the deep end. And I'm just super excited to see what they're going to do for him. And super excited for Jey Uso getting the world title. He's electrifying. And that's what you're looking for a world champion, honestly. And can't wait to see what he does. You had the World Tag Team title match versus the New Day and the War Raiders. I pretty much called the New Day winning. I like that. I like a good heel tag team, and it's going to be one hell of a run of them just being goons. They're goons. I love it. And it seems like they're having fun getting to do a lot more wild stuff with their character and not have to be picture perfect and babyface, because I'm sure it's a lot more fun being heel, but super excited about them. And there's probably no better way to win that match in a dirty schmoz. It's just perfect. And I love how they just ran out like they stole the belts, because, I mean, they kind of did, but it was so perfect. It was so perfect. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I knew Jay was going to win, but I'm interested to see how Bianca Belair gets, pulled further into the situation. And that's why I don't think that Bianca needed the belt, because I definitely feel like they got a story cooking here. I definitely think you're going to see it next WrestleMania. I'm calling it now. You're going to see Jade versus Bianca Belair. It's going to be good. And I can't wait to see what they do about it. You had El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. It was originally going to be Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, but Rey Mysterio got injured. Rey Fenix came in. There was a lot of pushback with having Rey Fenix lose his big WrestleMania match, but I think it's just really aimed for El Grande Americano to take some heat. And I really feel like they're really pushing El Grande Americano to become this big giant heel, especially with the acquisition of AAA. I think that they're definitely going to have El Grande Americano be the focal point with this Worlds Collide AAA event that they're going to do, and we're starting to see crossovers. It's just going to make for good wrestling, and it's definitely just going to push even more heat on El Grande Americano. I cannot wait to see it. I love his character. He's arrogant. He says stupid stuff. Everyone knows who it is. It's almost. Next match, we had the United States Championship match, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I was so torn watching this match. I wasn't going to be mad either way, but LA Knight dropping the title is going to do good things for LA. He is destined to do bigger things. I feel like they have truly misbooked him since his big, ascendance into popularity and fame. And I think that this is their opportunity to push him into a world title or undisputed title. I don't think he's going to take it from Cena, but it's definitely going to put him in a trajectory path to getting on that level as a main Carter. I feel that he's so underrated because he's always doing something new in every match. He's always adding something into his repertoire with move sets, and he's not afraid to take risks. And I just love that about him. Even though something might not go perfectly planned, but he has the balls to just introduce new things and do it on big stages. And I love that for LA Knight. He's going to do good things. And, Jacob Fatu winning his title, I mean, he's an absolute killer. And this is going to introduce a lot of drama, I think, between him and Solo. I would just really excited to see what Solo does with this and watch that dynamic change. And really excited for Jacob Fatu. We have the WWE Women's Undisputed Championship match between Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair. That match was intense, dude. That match was intense. I thought that Flair was going to win that match, but Tiffany Stratton won and really solidifying her stand on the Women's Championship. So we're going to see where that goes. I don't know who's next. I don't know what story they're going to brew, but super excited about it. They're both premier athletes and just really excited to see where Tiffany Stratton is going to go from here. Definitely has solidified her as a top tier talent. And I mean, they really strapped the rocket on her. So super excited. The triple threat match. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. The whole Paul Heyman dynamic. I was so convinced that Paul Heyman was going to stay with CM Punk and then CM Punk would betray him. On the simple fact that CM Punk, when he arrived, he said that he was not here to make friends, but has called Paul Heyman his best friend and essentially betray him and for CM Punk to go heel. But the whole turn with him low blowing CM Punk, giving the chair to Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman selling so hard. You made me choose, giving it to Roman Reigns, having, guiding him to attack Seth Rollins only to be low blowed again. And he really just dug in there, getting in there, just crushing. I mean, his facial expressions were just so intense. That's what makes Paul Heyman so good. His facial expressions are so, so good. He's literally a wrestling genius and one of the best managers, promoters in wrestling history. And having Heyman align with Rollins, both chaotic heel characters. So the thing for me that, rumors had circled months before this match saying, what if Paul Heyman went with Seth Rollins? And then rumors started spreading. And then Seth Rollins had this promo saying that Roman Reigns didn't care about you. He never saved you when he took his leave of absence. When the new bloodline harmed him, where was Roman Reigns? It's a valid point. CM Punk telling him that, CM Punk didn't really care for you either, for this and that. And basically telling him that he could solve the problem. Basically telling, or at least hinting that he could take him out physically. And that's what I was interpreting. And I feel that was where they probably should have left it off for me. And I think from there, from the purposely missed curb stomp and telling him that he owed him a favor was telegraphed so hard. And then the SmackDown, as good as the promo was to SmackDown before WrestleMania, having the one line that was said, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. It was so cold-blooded to say. It was such a cool thing to say, but it was telegraphed so hard by making that Paul Heyman reference that we just knew it was going to happen. Now, watching it, knowing that it was going to happen, didn't really take away from the ending itself, but it definitely took away from the shock. But I'm happy with it. I think that this is going to be good for Seth. Seth taking a win does wonders for him. He is a workhorse for the WWE. He loves wrestling. He's essentially the wrestling fans' wrestler. You know what I mean? Roman Reigns had carried the Undisputed Championship for over 1,000 days, and I respect him for that. Seth Rollins made the point that he's not a part-timer. And then we saw that when he had the world championship. He wrestled literally every week for that whole year prior to that WrestleMania. He's putting his body on the line. And everything he said in that promo on the SmackDown before WrestleMania was absolutely true. There was not a lie about it. And you could see it in his face that he felt it. He believes it. I mean, that was a shoot. He was saying the truth. And so having him win and see where this storyline goes is just going to be nasty. Now, the Raw following was so good, and they did it so well because Seth Rollins, we thought we were going to get this big explanation, and we were cut off by Roman Reigns coming out, which I thought was perfect because they're going to milk this explanation. They're going to milk this growing storyline for weeks to come. And both CM Punk, Roman Reigns come out, they're fighting, and then we get this hooded figure coming out. And for a split second, I swear to God, for a split second, I thought it was Zilla Fatu. I was going to explode. It was Braun Breaker. So if there was any question on what Braun Breaker was going to do after this loss, there's your answer. And I'm really excited to see what Braun Breaker does under this new role, under Paul Heyman. That's the WWE stamp of approval. So the next 2 years for Braun Breaker is going to be, you're going to see so much growth. You're going to see so much growth with Braun Breaker. And with Paul Heyman behind him in his ear, guiding him for his character development, you're just going to see such a tremendous growth from today till next year or 2 years from now. It's going to be a stark comparison from light to dark. We're not going to be able to recognize him. So super excited about that. The Raw right after, usually the Raw after so-so, but this Raw was amazing, dude. Amazing. It was so good. And I am just so excited to see where they go because especially with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and CM Punk, I can see CM Punk kind of, fading out of this triple threat drama. The only tie that CM Punk will have is with Paul Heyman. And we're going to hear from CM Punk. He's going to spit a nasty promo. I can't wait to hear it. But I think that that's pretty much going to be the catalyst that really has him go back and reflect on what he said, is that he's not here for friends. He's here for money. And that was CM Punk's mistake. He put friends over his goals, and that's what you got. So I think that you're really going to see CM Punk do some pretty amazing things over the next couple months. He's really going to turn up the intensity and really buckle down on his original intention when he first came back to the WWE. In regard to Roman Reigns, I definitely think that you're going to see this feud between him and Seth Rollins. And I definitely think that next WrestleMania, we're going to get our Seth Rollins-Roman Reigns match. I think that that's what we're going to see next year. I hope that they can tell the story in a pace where it doesn't get dried out. But if it comes before at a different PLE, I wouldn't be mad as long as it's at a pace and it feels right. But if they figure out a way to make it last till next WrestleMania, it's going to be freaking huge. Overall, looking at the WrestleMania, it's hard to compare it to last year because there was so much drama last year with The Rock being there, Cody finishing his story. It was almost like the Avengers at last WrestleMania. So it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to compare it. But this WrestleMania was really good. A lot of good matches. It was just the match with Cody Rhodes and John Cena that I was kind of displeased about. I'm not upset at the ending. I'm not upset of how it turned out. I'm excited for Cody losing the title. It's going to be great for his character growth. I'm excited that John Cena is the champion. I'm excited that I agree now with John Cena that I don't necessarily like him because he became a heel. I like him because of his message. Because sometimes wrestling fans suck, and I'm guilty of it. Watching things as they happen, I'm going, why would they do that? And I have to remind myself, just watch to the end and see what happens. And I'm all on board on Cena with his message. I agree with him. Wrestling fans, we suck, dude. We're terrible. I think Cena's saying it best, man. Wrestling fans, we suck sometimes. And he just showed us the ugly truth. This was a great therapy session. Thank you, fellow nerds. Thank you for plugging in to the Nerd Companion. Can't wait to see what happens.